Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the fourth part of the program organized by Invest Hong Kong, Italy, dedicated to the opportunities for Italian startups to open operations and branches, incubating their projects in one of the many structures that Hong Kong makes available to startups from all over the world. And to do so by taking advantage of the incredible and numerous financial support measures that the Hong Kong government makes available for this purpose. Today we will present Brinc, a Hong Kong venture capital company that invests in innovative startups by offering incubation programs and support for selected international companies. Within a few minutes, you will get to know Brinc, but above all, you will have the opportunity to understand how, why, and when you should or you could present your projects to Brinc to participate in their selection. Most of you followed us along a program through which we explain the reasons why it is important to consider starting a business in Hong Kong, the autonomous region of China, among the most business-friendly in the world, thanks to the size of its market, to the synergies that neighboring cities such as Shenzhen and the region of that we call the Greater Bay Area, thanks to its favorable business climate, moderate tax system, the freedom of movement of capital and goods, freedom of information, and freedom of doing business without any government interference. Along the program, we have presented extremely interesting infrastructures such as the Hong Kong Science Technology Park, and last week another venture capital company, and today Brinc we are going to present. Anyone who has missed one of our previous sessions will be able to review the recordings that we have posted on YouTube. So just please send us a request or get in touch with us and we will send you the related links. And I strongly recommend that you please go through it because we have provided so much valuable information. The last part of the first cycle of this program will be on Wednesday, 27th of May, and with the presentation of Cyberport. Cyberport is another major player in the Hong Kong startup ecosystem. Please mark the date, 27th of May, because it will be a fundamental appointment of this program due to the offer of enormous interest that Cyberport makes available to international startups in terms of infrastructure and economic support. It is important to understand, and I would like to stress this point, that the various incubation and investment programs that we present in this program, such as today with Brinc, are not necessarily alternative to each other. In addition to the opportunity to present your projects to all these players to increase the chances of being selected, obtaining an investment, for example, from Brinc, does not preclude the possibility of using the support and facilities of other infrastructures, such as the Science Park or the Cyberport. So please make sure you apply to all this, or at least, whatever, make sure you are present and you are actively participating and trying to get into these programs that we are presenting. Another point regards the second cycle. I was saying this is the first cycle that will end at the end of May with the presentation of Cyberport. The second cycle, which will take place in June, the exact dates have not yet been fixed, but will be communicated to you as soon as possible. This second cycle will be organized in collaboration with the Intesa Sanpaolo, the Italian bank that dedicates significant efforts and financial resources to support the internationalization of Italian innovative companies. We will present the programs developed specifically to accompany Italian companies to Hong Kong and to the Greater Bay Area, and we will present the opportunities to participate in these programs accompanied by us, by Invest Hong Kong, by the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong, and by other partners of the program. I remind you that Invest Hong Kong services are free, and I invite you to contact us as many times as you deem necessary. Don't hesitate to get in touch with us to discuss every aspect related to this program and to any step we would do together to see a stronger presence of Italian technology and creativity in this part of the world, which grows at a pace unmatched in other parts of the world. I look forward to staying in touch with all of you, and I'm now pleased to give the floor to Andrew McCarthy, Head of Marketing of Brinc, who will provide us with an overview of Brinc. Andrew, you have the floor.
Thank you, Stefano. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrew McCarthy, the Head of Marketing. This is Estefania, Almeida, our Portfolio Manager.
Hi.
So I'll get right into it. I don't want to take too much of everyone's time, but we'll get into it. We'll go through it quickly, be precise, and then we can open the floor for questions. All right, Brinc. So at Brinc, we believe that the most important challenges will be solved by great entrepreneurs, and that in order for these entrepreneurs to succeed, we believe that they need the right support. And then we believe that we can step in and provide this support. And we like to call all these entrepreneurs game changers. So these game changers are changing the way, fundamentally changing the way how we feel, where we live, what we eat, and how we move. So why now? So with everything going on in the world right now, and everyone's thinking about social responsibility, and all corporates are thinking about this, and we all need a change and focus business on creating a more sustainable business. But we realize that I think a lot of times people want to do social good, but then they don't realize that they need to create a business that's sustainable too. So we kind of mix the two together by creating socially responsible businesses that also make money. So actually a lot of the investments that we have currently, some fit within all these UN SDG goals. Some have 5 or 6 associated with them, some just 1 or 2. But as we go forward, we are looking for more of these companies to fit with the UN goals, and we are actually partnering with the UN in doing workshops in Bahrain so far, and we're looking to expand on that partnership. So what kind of accelerator programs we run? So we started 5 years ago with just our hardware IoT program, and over the past couple of years, we've kind of expanded out that into other areas of manufacturing, food technology, and clean energy. But these programs are kind of like the umbrella overseeing many different categories and sectors and industries. And so if any of the industries, say like ag tech, med tech, health tech, drones, robotics, food supply chain, anything that falls within any of these are kind of the umbrella names. So if any of those businesses fall within these categories, we would be very interested in hearing from you. So we have programs all over the world. We originally started in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong hardware IoT was our first program, and then we expanded out to the other programs, manufacturing, food technology, and clean energy. But over the past 3 years, we also expanded programs into Bahrain, Poland, India, and Australia. So each of these programs are slightly different. There's different financial offers, there's different terms, different equity percentages. So like, for example, the one in Poland, it's actually a zero equity program. The India program is only for Indian teams, but like, I don't want to get into the details of each site. I think you guys can explore that on our website. But to sum it all up, generally we kind of provide about up to $100,000 US for a range of about 8 to 13% equity for each business. So what's the schedule look like? We pretty much run the program twice a year on, it's a 3-month program twice a year, and it's kind of like on a 6-month cycle. So a good example here is like, so for upcoming, so like let's use the application period of 2 months. We have our applications opening again in June. So from mid-June to about mid-August, we'll have the application period where we'll review and we'll receive over 1,000 applications for all the different categories. And then we end up taking about 10% and moving them into our extended due diligence phase, which we call it pre-acceleration. And here it's kind of a feeling out phase, whether we're a right fit for you or whether you're a right fit for us. So it's kind of, we decide whether we're good partners for each other. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but by the end of it, we end up selecting under 5% of the teams from the original application batch, and we go into our accelerator program, which runs for 3 months. So that 3-month program, let's use the upcoming one, the fall program. So the fall program, the applications is June to August. September is the pre-acceleration month. Then the program will start October, November, December, and then that will start again. And we will start the application period from December, January, February, and then repeat again next year. And then I'll explain a little bit more about what steady state is. It's kind of our ongoing support that even after the program, we provide additional support to the teams that once as equity partners into your startup, we want to see you do well. So we remain in contact, we remain helping you along your startup journey. So how do we decide which teams enter our program? So these are the three main things: technical feasibility, financial viability, and market desirability. So technical feasibility is kind of like, do you have a prototype? Is it technically feasible to actually make your product? Do we believe that this prototype, this idea, can be brought to life? So a lot of the teams that we invest in are very early stage, like we're pretty much the first money in. So all these are at concept, idea phase, prototypes, working prototypes. And so we have to make that decision whether this is a viable business there. So, and then going into financial viability, we need to see that you have like created a business model that you can actually make profit and create a sustainable business. And then going to market desirability, we need to see that your product is desirable to the market, that people actually would want it, your customers want it. Yeah. So why Join Brinc? So I actually did a poll across all the startups that are previously and asked them the main reasons why they joined our program. So these are actually responses from our startups and our founders. And the number one reason is always generally funding. It does help. I mean, getting $100,000 is a good kickstart to your business, especially when you're early on. So it's first money in to kind of help you support and kind of to help you develop your idea. But then there's the mentorship. So we have mentors across all sectors. So whether you need financial help, engineering help, marketing, we're there to step in areas that you're weak. And then our network. So over the past 5 years, we've gained a network of investors and partners from around the world. So for hardware IoT, we know many of the key players, investors in there. In food technology, we now know many of the investors. So we can, as a startup that joins our community, we can easily share those contacts and provide those connections for you to help you grow your business. And then the curriculum, we provide a custom curriculum. So a curriculum is catered to your needs. So every startup is different. So every startup needs different support. So that's why after we meet the teams, we realize, okay, maybe they need some more time with finance. Maybe they need some more time raising money. Maybe they need some time learning how to pitch better. We'll provide the support wherever they need, and like we'll provide additional support there. And then perks. We've been reached out to by many of the startup tools from around the world. They've given us discounts for free access codes, 50% discounts to many of these tools. And we have about, I think the total value of it is about $250,000 and we share that with all our founders. And then lastly is the ongoing support that I just previously mentioned in our city state, that as an equity partner in your business, that we want to see you do well. And if you do well, we do well. So we want to provide that extra support. And one of the things that I always kind of emphasize to all the startups is that when they leave here is that a lot of times founders, I myself being a founder, is kind of always too prideful in asking for help. And like you believe that you can always do things by yourself. So as a partner here, we are there and ready to support you. So if you need help in any area, like please do reach out. So I always tell teams, please contact us, get in touch with us. We'll help you whenever you need, because we want to see you do well. And I'll leave you with one example before I pass it off to Estefania, is that I remember a couple of years ago, one of our startups came to us when they said they only had maybe 1 month left of runway, and they needed to raise capital very fast. I mean, ideally they should have told us that 6 months in advance to give us prior notice, but we went above and beyond. We helped that startup raise that capital. Now they're about to, I guess, manufacture their products. So we do help the teams ongoing and push and help them even post program. So a lot of times, a lot of different programs that you see, it's the support ends after you finish the program. But as partners, we do kind of support and continue helping you throughout your startup journey. So Estefania is going to share a little bit more about our portfolio.
Thanks, Andrew. So yeah, hi everybody. As you can see from this slide, our portfolio has increased significantly. Now we have around 110 startups. And as you can also see, we're very open to invest in a lot of different verticals. The reason is because we can add value on not only on manufacturing, but also we are now also having a focus on food technology and innovation in the food space. And this doesn't necessarily have to have a hardware component. So for example, we are talking about novel ingredients or improvements in the logistics in this very, very little transparent industry that is food production, or novel methods of production of protein, like cellular agriculture, instead of growing, instead of consuming meat, having cattle, just use the mother cells to produce meat without the animal. And so on and so forth. So here you can see a little bit of the spectrum of some of the companies where we have invested. So there's a little bit of agriculture tech, a little bit in mobility and smart cities, logistics, health tech. We are very interested in deep tech companies, and we're very comfortable at the early stage. We try to link our companies with professionals, with the corporates, with mentors, with a vast network, to de-risk them, to boost them, to give them an unfair advantage, more access to capital, more access to resources, so that so basically, yeah, boost our company so that we have a win-win relationship. All our strategic help geared towards the growth of our companies. Now, I will go over a couple case studies, and we can culminate hearing from one of the companies where we invested. Simone will share his experience and a little bit more about his startup, and yeah, you'll hear more from him. So basically, the first company that I wanted to share a little bit about is Frontier Bio. Frontier Bio is a company based in the United States. So also we invest anywhere in the world. We don't have a geographical limitation. We try to be as opportunistic as we can, where there are good fundamentals and good companies with a good solution to a massive problem that needs to be addressed. So this company is doing a bioprinter. Bioprinter is basically capable of printing live tissue, so bone, cartilage, skin, and this technology basically is used for drug testing. For example, it has a lot of other usages, and the advantage of this little printer is that it basically has a zero cell death. It has the highest survival rates that are available in the market. Normally, the typical techniques have kill 60% of the cells. You can see a little on the images some of the examples. One of the examples is basically a printed human blood vessel that the Mayo Clinic was using. So top tier players. This team we have supported with fundraising a lot. They fundraised almost $1 million from top tier investors. Some of them were introductions. Some of them we developed a good relationship with through the help that we provide to our startups. We can be really as hands-on as the startups invite us to be. We try to be an investor, but we really like vision-driven founders that make their own decisions, that have their own Everest, their own objectives. Another one of our companies, this one is in food tech and specifically geared towards the logistics. It's a pure software company. Well, almost pure software, but it's a pure AI platform, so artificial intelligence platform that helps to analyze ingredients, nutrients, the texture of food production, and basically add a lot of traceability to the entire food manufacture, food production process. This company has grown radically. They have 20 million data points. Basically, it enables food producers to have a very organized R&D, a very organized process of how they're producing their end products. Now they have 43 users. It doesn't seem like a lot, but actually these are, it's a B2B company. So 43 users is corporates, sometimes of the size of Walmart and Danone. So really, it's a very interesting company that we're also supporting in to fundraise, and they have already raised more than half of their current round, based in the United States as well, but it has a lot of expansion capability. This company is in health tech. As you can see, it's a little device that goes under the, well, in your thoracic cage, just under on your ribs to measure your lung base response. It's as you can see on the value proposition, it says advanced lung sound monitoring. So it's meant to be predictive. It's meant to help patients to reduce the risk of rehospitalization. It helps any patient with a respiratory disease. It gathers a lot of data, and it's a hardware solution with a software component that is very strong. So basically, it monitors the patient's lung health in real time and gathers a lot of data. So this, they have achieved high levels of accuracy for using their detection algorithms. So it's 95% precise, and it has gone through all the clinical studies and FDA approvals. They have raised a significant amount of money, and they're working with the best hospitals in the world to refine their offer through clinical trials. A very interesting company that is also thriving through this crisis as they support patients that have lung problems. They're generating revenue, and we have we have supported in manufacturing, in connecting, and we have given a lot of strategic help. This company I'm very fond of. It's an Italian company, sorry, a Portuguese company, well, Brazilian, and it has a lot of possibilities for expansion. It is already working in Italy, and with some top tier textile giants. Basically, Gali is growing cotton in a lab. So out of the mother cells of the cotton, so it has the same quality or better quality than Egyptian cotton. It can grow 10 times faster. It is not reliant on land, so it basically saves a lot of land space. Does not use pesticides. It is cleaner. It has less emission, less water usage. It's basically a clean way of producing cotton. And what they produce in the end is the yarn that is ready to enter into the textile industry, a very wasteful industry. So it is a massive solution, and they're doing quite well. As I said, they're entering the Italian market through some excellent clients, and with also in the United States, and increasing their manufacturing capacity. This is one of our robotics companies, BotSync. Basically, right now, you can see the little robots. They're autonomous, and they're meant to navigate areas that are of difficult access, that are difficult to navigate. Right now, they're focusing on inspection and automation of warehouses. Of course, this is also an area that is thriving in this crisis. Adding more efficiencies with less people, saving a lot of costs. And their robots right now are also using deep learning. And on top of this, the company is adding a lot of training courses for people in academia, for robotics professionals, for people in the industry, so they can learn more about robotization. They are working, they actually have 3 robots already in the market. They are working with the top tier players like Schneider Electric and Bolloré. Schneider Electric, we have a very good relationship with. We actually, they chose some companies from Brinc to invest and to hold a proof of concepts with, and so far it's going very well with some of the chosen companies in industrial IoT. And this company has also been very successful at fundraising thanks to our help. I'll be quite quick, so to give more time to Simone to share. But this is a cellular agriculture company as well, but they're basically producing a fish maw, so the mouth of the fish, that is rich in collagen, so they can actually produce this part of the fish without growing the fish, so in a very clean manner, in a sterile environment, in a lab. And not only for consumption, actually collagen is very consumed in China, so it is a very, very large market for food consumption, but also as an ingredient in the cosmetics industry. This collagen-rich part of the fish is constantly used as an ingredient in the cosmetics industry. So they're basically providing for a better solution, a better source of this clean ingredient, without actually all the aquaculture, all the that is sometimes quite aggressive, that sometimes has a lot of antibiotics. It's not necessarily a very clean process. So it's adding efficiencies to not only the food industry, but also the cosmetics industry. And they have a lot of traction, and they have patented their method from A to Z, and enabling them to scale very fast. Now, Qoowear is one of our portfolio companies. I don't want to say too much about it. I would love for Simone to share all about his company. So I'll leave him to speak.
Thanks, Estefania. So hello, everyone. I'm Simone Casciaro, and I'm the CEO and founder of Qoowear. We are building advanced hardware for workers on the field, so blue collars. Basically, our goal is to put electronics on their body to boost their performance and their safety on the field. And we have been part of Brinc Accelerator in Hong Kong, the hardware and IoT accelerator, more than a year ago. They selected us because eventually they believed in the market, and right now is actually true, which more than a year ago wasn't true, that almost any industrial company is investing in building these kind of technologies to boost the safety of workers as much as possible. Actually, there is even DuPont, that is one of the most important company in the world for the equipment for workers, that has actually coined the term safety tech as a new brand of the safety market, specifically for industrial workers. And for us, Brinc has been very, very valuable. Actually, we have even been through Brinc in Cyberport, one of the programs that Stefano mentioned to you at the beginning. And Brinc added us great value, in our case, on the hardware perspective, for example, in manufacturing, but even on strategy, on fundraising techniques. So it has been very useful, especially in Italy. You're not used to see, so much international value, international expertise. Sometime, at least I've not seen it very much in the hardware perspective. But anyway, our experience has been very good. We have been to Shenzhen. We have seen the actual places, the factories where electronics is built. So it's like you're seeing how things really works on a top tier perspective. And that's actually very, very important, because on the manufacturing perspective, let's say that the quality of the product actually it's a result of the quality of the manufacturing piece. And this is especially important for Italy, because we are very much used to, prototyping and very small batches. So we are more about the handcraft of things. So even seeing what is about to build, a ton of product, big volumes, all of them must be at the same quality level. that's something that maybe it's not so easy to see, especially in Italy. So for us, this is true as a tech advantage that we have seen through Brinc. But again, in general, having this expertise, having access to expertise in international funding and international venture capitals, is something that for sure Italy has a need, I would say. So if you have any question, I would be happy to respond to any question. But I believe Brinc can add a lot of value here, especially in Italy.
Thank you, Simone. Before we kind of open it up for questions from everybody, I want to show you guys that we actually recently created a new brand video that I want to share to kind of motivate you guys a little bit.
It starts with an idea. You're onto something. A truly meaningful solution for a problem facing our society. So you persevere. You push forward. Then one day, you're ready to make your pitch. This is your dream. Your chance to make an impact. Your positive change in the world. You talk to us. We're looking for solutions. We're inspired by your idea. We see the potential for impact. We act on it. We give advice and guidance, business and technology insights, expert mentorship, a sense of community, and a movement that's greater than all of us. We connect you with investors and partners that see the benefit beyond the spreadsheet. Suddenly, opportunities that were out of reach are now within your grasp. And because we see the world through your eyes, we're with you every step of the way, creating a real, sustainable business that connects profit with purpose, financial return with value for society. The result might just change the world. Brinc, empowering game changers.
I hope that's motivated you all to apply. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, applications are open in June, and they'll be open until about mid-August. We are looking for new teams to invest in, and we'll be probably investing into about around 30 new teams. Thank you all for your time, and let's open up the floor for questions.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Thank you, Estefania, and thank you, Simone. Very, very interesting. I was fascinated, I must say. No Brinc. Of course, I'm familiar with the name for years, but I mean, I didn't have such an opportunity to get into depth, to understand what you're actually doing. And thank you for sharing this, and thank you, Simone, for sharing your experience. Simone, what you were saying is a kind of summary of what I keep saying to everybody, but what I'm saying is theory. What you're saying is practice, right? Practical things, practical experience. When I say go to Hong Kong because, and at least there's so many advantages, there's so many attractions. But basically what people should understand, you are in Hong Kong in an ideal climate, let's say, business climate, but you just jump on a taxi and get to Shenzhen to watch your components being made or your whatever hardware or partnership and whatever, and you jump on a taxi, go to the bank and get the money, or you go to the, and the other thing that I said in the beginning, all these programs, all these facilities, infrastructure that we are presenting are not alternative to each other, right? And even Andrew repeated that. And Simone as well, right? I mean, getting an investment from Brinc, getting into their incubation program does not prevent at all for you to get into a program of Science Park or Cyberport. The two things can be combined, and they both combine to bring to success. Getting a partner like Brinc into your company, Brinc is your shareholder. I mean, for them, they will use all their strength, their experience, their support, their whatever they have to make your project a success in Asia and in the world. So this is the point I wanted to repeat to make sure that it's very well understood by everybody. And I would ask, please, Andrew and Stefania to go through the Q&As, and we have a few questions in the chat and a few in the Q&As. Would you please see if you can address some of those?
Certainly. The first question that I see is from Gregory. Well, he says, who is the expert person evaluating? So yeah, this is a very good question. So basically, of course, we have a very, very large funnel that is composed of our inbound and outbound, so referral channels, our participation in the ecosystem. So easily, very fast, we get a lot of applications. So we have an internal team that analyzes all these applications and start selecting the teams based on, on quality that is, it's a lot of different criteria. We're very interested in the early stage. So we're very open to companies that still, for example, are not ready for manufacturing it at we see where we can add value, and then we're looking for disruptive solutions for very pressing problems, clear market fits, and really excellent teams. But let's say that after this first selection is made by our internal team, we hold an investment committee. So this investment committee is composed of the team members from Brinc that have different levels of expertise, be it technical, an expertise in a certain, like for example, in marketing, in manufacturing, in logistics, in finance. So we try to have a complete team that can cover some a well-rounded analysis of the companies that go through the investment committee. And we also invite experts and mentors. And the reason why we do this is quite apparent. Oftentimes, if it's a very disrupting technology, we need to bring some experts to the table that can understand and can give us an assessment about a specific technology, how solid it is in reality. The external mentors and us hold meetings with the teams that are in the investment committee. And the due diligence process is fairly long. It lasts around 2 to 3 weeks. And we also go deeper into the material that is submitted. And we bring a lot of, we ask basically questions that allow us to make a proper assessment. So it's several people, some of it in-house, some of us in-house, some externals of our ever-growing network, really. We have experts in artificial intelligence, experts in food technology, food scientists, et cetera, et cetera. Do you want to add something?
That's the perfect answer. And then I think Gregory also asked a question about how the clean conditions they print in plasma. I believe that's a question related to one of our teams for Frontier Bio. I don't think they print in plasma, I believe, right? I don't know.
They have a medium, but yeah, this the exact medium of where the live tissue is printed, it's not plasma, but I mean, I would need to check with how sensitive this information is with the founder. If you're particularly curious about this team, we can definitely maybe have a longer chat after this, and happy to connect you really to some of our teams. We're really happy to extend our network. Yeah. And
then I'm not sure about the HABA conditions. I think maybe you're referring to our Accelerator program, the conditions. I think it's pretty straightforward. I think it's depending on which program you apply for the hardware IT, let's use as an example, it's about it's $100,000 US for 8 to 13% equity. We require the teams to be in Hong Kong for 1 month of the program. The other 2 months can be done overseas. It can be done in Italy at home. And then we require the teams to also pay a program fee of $30,000 US. And it's pretty standard across many other accelerator programs, is how we run our business.
Yeah. I guess if I can add something, go a little bit into greater detail. We have partnered with in Hong Kong. We've partnered with a fund, a very large fund, backed by, well, it's superannuation. Basically, superannuation is the equivalent of a pension fund in the United States. So basically, a very, very liquid fund. It's called the Artesian. They have a lot of later stage funds, but they have delegated the early stage to us. So they rely entirely on our investment committee, our ability to understand the early stage, to de-risk, and they deploy capital on the companies that we select. So we also have this partner and co-investor that can provide capital, and who has a lot of follow-on investment capabilities, meaning that on the next rounds of fundraising, they can reinvest and reinvest and reinvest. So of course, this is a very good partner that we can count on, that has been able to provide a lot of liquidity to our teams beyond the program. So yeah.
Next question from Marco. Do you want us to open a new co in Hong Kong? If yes, do we have to recruit any staff? If yes, at which stage? And how many resources we have to hire? So actually, we don't require you to register your business in Hong Kong. We recommend you to register your business in Hong Kong, because once you register your business in Hong Kong, you get the many tax advantages. You get access to, say, other grants like Cyberport and Science Park that we keep repeating. So, but for you to just apply to join us at first, you do not, it's not required, but we recommend it.
Yeah, Hong Kong is a jurisdiction that we really like, of course, because it has rule of law, basically a very clean law that is very efficient, that is very fast, that is transparent, that will protect your intellectual property. If you have a Hong Kong topco with the intellectual property sitting there, that is extremely efficient in case of arbitration, in case of litigation. It's just a very nice jurisdiction that also investors tend to really like, because of all the ease that it offers to investors. So it also can open a lot of doors for financing sources. A lot of investors, not only in Asia, also in other areas of the world, are quite familiar with Hong Kong, like it as a jurisdiction. So it's easier to raise funds having a Hong Kong entity. So it's not as Andrew said, it's not a limitation. We recommend it if you're thinking still of registering a company. You can have access to a lot of governmental help, and overall, it's a very healthy place to do business at. It's easy to transact with China as well. You can transact with another jurisdiction as well, but it's close to a lot of vendors in China know it, etc. So it's easy to transact.
Cool. All right, next question. We have two Chinese investors. Questions from Enos. So we have two Chinese investors in the company, and we are analyzing the Chinese market. Very interesting for us, but we need a partner to help us develop on the vast Chinese market. For you, it represents an added value to already have two Chinese investors to be evaluated to enter the Brinc, the ecosystem Brinc. So I think this question is a little bit tricky. It's not something that we particularly specialize in to kind of help startups enter the Chinese market. It's kind of case-to-case basis how we have partners, like we have office in Guangzhou, and our Guangzhou office is connected with the Guangzhou government, helping us. They're trying to attract startups into Guangzhou and enter the Chinese market. But from our Hong Kong and globally, we also help startups and corporates. If you go on our website, we have a section called services, and that's open to startups and corporates that we help people with their manufacturing in China. So we have a whole other side of the business where we support with any kind of manufacturing need. We are the middleman in between between the factory and you. So depending on your needs and what you need specifically, and like maybe if you're part of the ecosystem, then we can introduce you to the players if you apply. So it really depends on, it's kind of case to case to say how we can add more value to helping you grow in China. In
any case, if you have investors before, it is a validation as well. So it does bring more force to your entire, well, how we will see the company. If you have sophisticated investors that are capable of valuing you, that can understand your tech, it's even better. But yeah, we don't have a particular inclination towards having, you know, local investors. It could potentially bring a lot of value, I guess, on a case-by-case basis.
Moving on to the next question from Marco. Do you require to get any shares of our Italian startup? If yes, any idea how many shares?
We do have an equity alignment, so yes, shares, because our help is really for the long run. We have very long horizons, on average 7 to 15 years, until there's a natural liquidity moment. So we don't force liquidity moments at all, but we have we're very long-term investors. How many shares really depends. It depends on your valuation and how where you're sitting. So basically, we invest from valuations that are from 1 million to 5 million US dollars, and our percentages are also a range. So it really depends. They will be lower when the valuations are higher, and higher when the valuations are lower. But maybe if we're talking about the lowest range of valuations at the very early stage, in co-investment with our partner fund Artesian, we would take from 8 to 13%. Yeah, but for on the lower range of valuations, higher a little less, but open to discussion. Actually, it really depends on your rounds, our capital needs, etc.
All right. There's a comment that Gregory asked for our presentation to send to Stefano, that we will send our presentation and video over, and Stefano will share with you all.
I'm seeing many questions asking the Q&A, because we have two, right? The Q&A and chat is a bit confusing. Maybe we could you please copy and paste in the chat so we concentrate all the questions in one place only, please.
Okay, let's see. There's a lot. I don't know.
I think that's all the questions, actually. Oh, here's another. Oh, there's more questions.
There's one asking whether does it happen that companies you help come up working together? I mean, building a network among them could even empower them more and add value to the whole. So I suppose yes, right? I mean, synergies and cooperation among companies that already incubated or part of your program?
Yeah, so we do try to build some platforms where all the founders can interact together. We hold a monthly founder hour that is for our founders to interact with each other, where they share their own experiences. Sometimes they ask for help from the other founders. It's really a very collaborative platform. And we also have our external network, right? So mentors, corporates, etc. So founders do interact a lot with each other. They help each other a lot. It has already happened, actually, that some collaborate together. So I can give you an example. 2 drone companies with different solutions decided to join forces and created a bit of a mixed solution that enhanced both of the businesses. So sometimes it really makes sense. And this is something that we really want to foster. It's a force in numbers, right?
Yeah, thank you. I think there is one more question. Alessandro is asking, he doesn't understand well, what is the percentage of equity you would request or register for the $100,000? If I understand correctly, it depends from the value of the company. That's basically the answer. There's no a single question. If you are a company worth billions, I mean, you know, the 100,000 would be a tiny percentage, right? If it is just a startup, 100,000 maybe 50%. So it's really, there's no standard reply, but just apply and then discuss. One question I have, who would be both of you who, I mean, for any clarification after this webinar, people should get in touch with us, of course, because we will help them get in touch with you. But I mean, they may get in touch with you directly. Would it be Estefania or Andrew or both, or would you perhaps clarify?
Yeah, you can get in touch with both of us. We're happy to answer any question. I mean, we have startups reaching out to us every day, and like whether it's on our website, chatbot, whether it's on our emails, like we're happy to answer any questions.
Yeah. And I have a question for Simone. Simone, can you, I was saying before, think of yourself 2 years ago. You have been with Brinc for 1 year. Think of yourself 2 years ago. How did you get in touch with Brinc? What kind of difficulties, you know, share a bit of your practical experience, let's say.
Yeah, so as you know, in Italy is very tough in general. You don't have many investors, so it's a very little market at the moment, but it's growing. So that's a good thing for us, especially we found out about Brinc via f6s.com. That is a very important website that is, I think is still what Brinc uses for applications, right? Okay. So it's a platform, very important platform where we saw about them. Then we studied them, and it has been very, very interesting. It was already very interesting. They had maybe at least half of the programs they have now, but it was very, very interesting for us. And actually, I liked especially the let's say the modality, the characteristics of the program, because having 2 months in remote and then the last month in, let's say, locally, it has been very, very useful and very, very helpful because usually you don't need too much time in a certain place where a lot of accelerators ask you to maybe relocate for 3 months, 6 months somewhere. So it's actually, it has been very, very useful to start to know each other for a little bit. So yeah, it has been, let's say, thinking about before entering Brinc, really you face the challenges that Italy faces if you are in Italy. And yeah, and practically speaking, as you see, I like to be very practical. So practically speaking, really the remote thing has been very, very helpful because we want you to let's say know more about all the specifics, maybe even before deciding, you know, to move for a month in Hong Kong. But that has been very, very important.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simone. Do you mind if we share your details in case any companies would like to get in touch with you to ask questions, maybe in Italian or something?
Yeah, you can find me, anyone can find me easily on LinkedIn or via email. On LinkedIn, if you type my name, you find me immediately, or if you want to write me via email, is my name @qoowear.com. So it's very, very, is very, very easy.
Thank you. Well, anyway, get in touch with us and we will share your contact as any other.
So write me, it's not a problem. Or again, add me on LinkedIn if you want, it's not a problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Andrew, Stefania, any other question you'd like to address or else?
I mean, there's a lot of questions I realized. I think I only opened up the Zoom webinar chat, and actually I didn't know there's a Q&A section here. In the Q&A section, there's quite a few questions. So I'll see if I can just quickly go through them really quickly for you. Just give quick answers. So what about fashion tech? We have accepted several fashion tech startups. Ideally, they have some sort of hardware IoT components. Some space application naming.
The Brinc program or Series A.
So we generally look at startups at the early stage, pre-seed to seed round. So Series A maybe a little bit later, but we are looking to raise a fund, and we have a partner fund called Accelerator Programs for that, is for later stage teams, and that could be of interest for you as a European startup. So definitely could provide that contact for you. How many applications do you get? We generally get about 1,000 applications. We usually accept about 30 startups per batch. So one person's asking about creating a business plan, and one of the business plans is, I think there's many tools online that you can create a business plan, and then, I mean, I can happily like support and provide advice. So if you, Marco, if you can send me an email, I can give you advice on your business plan if you need help with that.
Usually for business plan, if you create a deck, really it covers everything that should be on a business plan. There's a lot of resources on the that you can find online. Andrew can send you some more material about what is typically the most useful information, the typical topics that you need to address. And if you do it in a PowerPoint form, this is normally very accepted by investors. Rather than it kind of replaces the old business plan that was very wordy with a deck. It does the work.
Perfect.
Do you use convertible notes or similar financial tools? Yeah, hi Renato. Yes, we do use convertible notes, and we also do safe rounds. We really like to do price rounds because we can support you a lot in going through what involves doing a price round, the governance, the typical resolutions, the typical composition of boards, what is friendly for founders, etc. We can definitely accompany you through that, but we're very open to signing safes and convertibles.
And I think the last question I think we need to address was somebody was asking about, are you looking for startups or investors, or can investors get involved and get equity of our startup and invest too? Where we are open to hearing from different investors. If Antonio, if you're interested in investing, please do reach out to Estefania, and then maybe we can share our portfolio and share more information.
Yeah, always looking for high quality investors, for high quality startups. We are happy to co-invest. We have done it in the past. We continue to do it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that pretty much answers most of the questions. If there's any other questions, please do reach out to Estefania or me via email, and we're always here to help.
I think, yes, you said it. Let's please continue asking questions. We love them. And, you know, the more questions you ask, the more we have opportunities to stay in touch and to bring you to Hong Kong, to bring to amazing facilities like Brinc. And thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Stefania. Thank you all for participating, but thank you for supporting Hong Kong and for helping us, you know, opening these great opportunities to Italian companies. Thank you all, and stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for your time. We really look forward to seeing more Italian applications. There's so much talent that we want to see.